This is Westphalen by night. Westphalen is a city that straddles the Pamlico, better known locally as the Tar, like a drunkard trying to maintain its upright position. Working against the equilibrium of the city are the vast quantity of kindred who stalk the night. Adding to its rampant crime is disappearing persons and its seedy underbelly, which the locals take great pride in. Westphalen is a city that does. What it does is no one's business. After all, no one hangs out their laundry for the neighbors to see. But in this particular city, in this particular place, in the Duncerne County region of North Carolina, what happens in the dark, well, if you're lucky, stays there. And so we'll tell a vampire tale with the kindred of Westphalen.
Or if you want to do prompt, or we want to do voice, or we want to... You're here now. Now is always better than any other time.
Yeah,
I'm down with now.
It was scheduled for noon. Yeah, so
yeah.
Okay. Well, that being the case, in the Great Amelia Hunt Down, what would be something that you all would do first and foremost? Like, how would you all get together to discuss how to progress, or would it just be a sketch can?
We're already together discussing it in the lounge right now. I was about to write my reply.
Okay.
But
instead of writing your reply, as you all sit at the high top banquet style table, what would you actually say?
Just give me, if we're gonna do this, give me like 2 minutes, because I have to go to the bathroom, because otherwise it's gonna get messy. I'll be right back.
It's gonna get messy.
Are you fucking kidding me?
But yeah, we were all sitting at the table, and Kira had already asked Nathaniel, hey, do you have any way of finding her? Do you know where she is? Do you have somebody who can contact somebody to locate her? And that was kind of...
Well, that's the good thing about Westphalen. As large as it is actually even larger when finding a specific person out of so many other specific entities. You're looking for lack of a better word, the average college-age woman with dark hair who is remarkably fit for her activity level, who clearly goes to the gym and works out to maintain her strength and endurance, who is a much beloved figure but has managed to somehow escape direct attention of the media. Like they're not reporters on her lawn because no one knows where that is. They're not cops providing protection detail for her because no one knows where she actually resides. She pops up or has popped back into the world as a whole, but just as quickly disappeared into obscurity once more, which is in and of itself indicative of several hundred things that could be amiss here.
Well, we know that she probably would not go back to her father's house, especially since her father and her brother were murdered there.
That's the logical thing.
Exactly. I mean, she may have gone back momentarily to give, pay her respects, grab her things, but then from there...
That's the logical thing, and it's the expected thing. However, and the truth of the matter is, we're dealing with such a catastrophic event. Is there any real logic that can be relied on? You're dealing with a woman who has had a series of bad events happen in a very short time and disappeared from all semblance of society for over a week, and then returned back to that same obscurity that has swallowed her up whole. That doesn't speak to a fully functioning rational mind. It speaks to, well, what does it speak to?
I'm scared. She's probably scared shitless right now.
Well, after she escaped, she obviously went straight to the authorities if she's in the paper right now. She showed up again.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, she's got to find somewhere safe.
Why don't we check that address, first of all, We'll change clothes because we're a little too fancy to be running into her right now.
Oh, yeah.
Check that address. I'm going to try and pull up her. I'm assuming she's got a Facebook. Almost everyone does, or if not, an Insta. Try and pull up her stuff from there, see if there's any friends that she might have that she could be staying with. And then we go from there. I'll also try and pull up hotels and motels around the area where the library was.
Okay. Well, the beautiful thing about where the library is and where the actual Carmelita Nielsen Library actually is, not the fall library where the keepers are trained up in how they keep things stored and how they hide the information in publicly accessible areas without anyone being any the wiser, is that it is on the campus of Westphalen's Fire Academy. Now, unlike most other schools and trade schools and colleges and minor universities spread throughout the city, the Fire Academy is a nationally recognized institution that trains fire instructors, like fire prevention instructors, fire mitigation instructors that go on to the national level. They are trained far more in depth and deeply here at the Westphalen Fire Academy than anywhere else in the world. In fact, 85% of the graduating members go on to become acclaimed fire jumpers and what have you throughout the rest of the world. This is a place that is dedicated to ending the threat and devastation of fire, which in and of itself doesn't sound all that odd, but it is, considering there are no coincidences. So you have a repository of kindred information hiding in public on the campus of the one place in the world that is absolutely, if such a thing was possible, safe from fire. So, in your search, Molly, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your intelligence plus either academics or technology to suss out what you're looking for in regards to Amelia's social media footprint, to see if there's any connections or easily found threads leading to others?
Are we going to continue doing this in the OOC lobby, or did we want to move over to the or to one of the other ones?
Oh, no, it's fine. It's midday.
Weird. And I was going to ask, what's it? Can we be outside when we're doing this? Because Molly makes a point.
Well, if you got a gut on your phone, we have to be outside.
Yeah, we have to. We can't bring phones into Elysium, so
yeah, well,
we beat feet, I guess.
We're already planning to get out, so I guess it just makes sense to do it now.
Oh, let's move it outside.
Any DC?
Your timing is absolutely impeccable, because as you all decide to exit and leave so that you can begin your hunt, because that's literally what it is. It is in fact a hunt. It is the fox is on the loose. You know that it is out there, and the threat to your society is there in the open for you all to pursue as far and as avidly as you would like. When you leave, you notice that the two barons who had arrived seemingly out of nowhere, traipsing through the lobby, exit in a very large standard black SUV, or at least that's what it seems to be. You all, leaving when you do, realize that they stepped into the SUV, out the other side, and into a car headed in the opposite direction that the SUV is. Such petty espionage tactics being necessary speaks to the volume of what was actually shared there in Elysium.
I take a mental note of it.
Yeah, same here.
Sorry, and it was with
Oh, simple brute force research. So it's either intelligence and academics or intelligence and technology.
Could I use investigation?
You could. the difficulty would be a little bit higher, solely because it is a brute force attack. It's literally bombing her social media, comparing any factual information versus making leaps of illogic. It's following the path that may be already there. Because close friends will reply quite often on someone's social media page. They'll, give emojis and emoticons, share memes. That's what you're looking at, just the raw data of it.
Well, sometimes photos and all that will have locations.
Any DC? I'm trying to debate if I should rouse.
Oh yeah, as high as you possibly can.
Boss, you should also spend all of your willpower, but that's an entirely other thing.
2 successes.
In the grand scheme of things, it is a simple logical step, and in its simplicity, it's almost insulting to your intelligence, because there on her social media page is the story of an aspiring actress. There on her social media page is someone who has several dance videos, several monologues, and like lightning during any storm, it comes out of nowhere just how quickly you connect the dots. It's almost as if this was a performance piece. It's almost as if this was constructed by some studio designed to elicit a certain response. It is all performance, every facet of it, all of the friends, it is so well manicured that you are absolutely sure that this has to be fake.
Why would she have a fake? I'm like musing to myself as we're out of there. I'm like, this is fake. I can't tell if it's like fake in the way that she is doing a performance for everyone else, like making us think her life is better than it is, or if this is some sort of ploy. Do I have any insight as to that, or is it normal performative media, or is it like, do I sense something more sinister? Or on 2 successes, do I not know the difference?
With 2 successes and the fact of how well manicured it is, there is no way that you would not, as a kindred, believe that there was something nefarious. There is no reason to lie with this level of obviousness, unless, of course, there is purposefully some wool being pulled.
Something's fucked up here, and I don't know what. Are there any leads within this manicured information, or is it all, like, I can tell that it's so manicured, none of it would be accurate?
That's the beautiful thing. Being a kindred and being exposed to the political ideals and machinations therein, you know that the best way to lie is with the truth. The best way to hide what you're attempting to do is by telling everyone what you're attempting to do. And it's clear, and you are 100% positive, that Amelia was and is in fact an actress, but what she is, the role that she's taking, you're not sure what lies behind it. And it is something obviously big, dark, and, well, you're sure dangerous at this point, being as you all have witnessed her at the Nielsen. You all have witnessed her in the sway of Emmy, who had various machinations planned for the tower itself. And now you have this free agent who's acted throughout the entirety of their life out there in the world unaccounted for.
Yeah, I'll relay that to the rest of the team.
Well, is it didn't? I'm sorry, I'm mixing up if it's in character or out of character. But isn't she our father and brother? Cops?
Boyfriend. Yeah, our boyfriend was a cop and our father was an ex-cop.
Okay, I don't think I was told that. So I'm sorry, I shut up.
That's fine. Just gonna skip some steps. Let me see. So, what you're saying is that our profile is fake. Could she have been? She was directed to the National Library by someone, but we don't know who the first time. Could she have lied to us about being a simple girl and be actually an agent of some sort?
Like SI?
because that makes things a lot more dangerous and a lot more concerning. We need to find her. We need to find her even faster now. We need to pull out all the stops. If you don't have any clues in our profile, does anyone have an idea of where we might look? I could ask a few kindreds while we're still here, see if they have any contacts. Otherwise,
I could try to see where she could be, where she could be going or somewhere, but it's not going to be precise. I don't know if it's going to be good enough.
Anything more would help.
Then I will premonition and try to figure out where the hell she is.
All right, so the standard ice pool is what we're looking for premonition, but there must be some catalyst, and the easiest catalyst for expanding the mind, or as most Malkavians see it, is melding the jagged and shredded pieces of reality into some semblance of a tale that you can read or see, or in some cases just smell your way through, is what we're looking for. What is Beatrice's catalyst to inspire that ability to see beyond what is happening now and what has already happened?
Catalyst, like a motivation to...
We have the newspaper with our article with us. Well, it's somewhere in
Well,
the
I was thinking maybe like the danger that she represents to our kind, like the need to be sure that she's going to be quote unquote safe and not either attack us or be attacked for what she is because of all the knowledge that she has. Because I feel like if somebody else knows about it, she's going to be killed right up. And
Excellent. Would you be so kind as go ahead and roll your resolve plus aspects?
Yeah, well, I'll roll myself. Rouse has failed. Okay, I won't. I'll rouse again. Okay, phew. Just looking back for my sheet. Wait a second. Resolve, you said?
Yes, resolve plus aspects.
If only I knew the right ritual.
Sorry, I'm looking for my sheet right now. I think it's 6, and then rousing, so it's gonna be 8. 5 success. I'll spend a willpower. Oh shit! It's gonna be fun.
All right, so as you all are
useless,
as you all are stepping outside of the hall, as you all are conducting your immediate quick search, as you all prepare to head elsewhere to change for the boots on the ground search for Amelia to find a point to start from, Beatrice starts to hyperventilate. And and the fact that you all don't need to breathe makes it even far more curious as to why it's happening. Her eyes swell to the size of saucers, and her breathing becomes so ragged and heavy. You are sure that if she were alive, her head would have burst from the aneurysm that she's causing herself. She doubles over in pain and falls to the ground. As you all witness this, inside the hundreds of millions of multiversal dreams that Beatrice has had, there are several things that run through them, several through lines, several connective factors, and that's danger and fear and the claws of her own beast at her throat. In this instance, the danger to kindred society is unparalleled. The risk out there in the world that Emmy, who had some reputation for having considerably loose lips, would have overshared with her ghoul, would have provided information as to where every kindred sleeps. After all, the Nosferatu are crawling around every corner. They're in every shadow. And that thought petrifies Beatrice to the point where the star-filled sky invades every facet of her vision. She can feel the hot, heavy breath of her beast on her neck, and she watches in front of her as the stars swirl into this miasmic, kaleidoscopic nightmare. She sees burning crosses. She sees men on horses chasing down thin, frail kindred, much like herself. She sees pitchforks and torches. She sees Westphalen being consumed by kindred like herself, devoid of any emotionality, tearing through the street. She is lost in the night of the living dead, or in this actual case, the night of the unliving dead, as they tear through the streets. She sees Simon Belmont from that Castlevania game racing ahead of all of the humans, charging, slashing, whipping his way through. She sees Mario, a living rendition of that little 8-bit pixelated image, bouncing from building to building. She sees the stage and Talbot covered in gold, beckoning her forth into the night. And there in the wings, reading him his lines, is Amelia, the picture from the paper. She sees Amelia with her earpiece reading Talbot's lines, and standing over her shoulder are several individuals in very long hats and very dark shadows, urging her forward. And just as she steps onto the stage, you see her falling through a trap door. And their hands, hundreds and thousands of them, pulling at her, leading her which way they want her to fall. When she strikes the bottom, she and Beatrice are now surrounded, not by the hoary hordes of humans and their cartoon protectors, but by other kindred, other shambling, avaricious kindred. She sees witches and demons, or at least they would be if they weren't so easily sawed through as disguises for other kindred. She sees them laughing and joking and pointing as if this has all been some huge prank, until Amelia detonates. She literally explodes in front of her face. And the idea of a suicide bomber, the idea of someone getting close enough to the heart of kindred to cause them untold damage, is enough to freeze Beatrice in the moment. She sees various buildings and streets with people going about their lives while the entirety of kindred society is literally blown sky high, and no one cares.
Okay, that's a lot to take in.
Well done.
Well, I guess Beatrice is now on the ground. She would probably be shitting herself up or peeing herself off if she was alive. As she regains consciousness or just reconnect to the reality. Am I suffering from a certain compulsion other than
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's still my clan bane is going to be rising up, but still, well, she'll be panicked and like for a second not recognize all three faces around her. Take a few seconds and like come back to it. Oh, Nathaniel, met him a few nights ago. Molly and Kira met them yesterday. Coterie. Oh, yes. Again, breathe hard. And then, okay, thanks. As she tries to get back to herself, she I try to see a vision of her. I'll try to figure out in a moment. I've seen a lot, too many things to just decipher right now, but I feel like she's a ticking bomb.
Daniel would kneel down in front of front of Beatrix. Are you all right, Beatrix?
I will have to be. Not right now, but I will be. Something is popping back to my mind. There's Amelia was there on the stage with Talbot, and she fell through it, caught by kindreds, witches and monsters, and then she exploded.
Oh.
And all the knowledge that she could have learned about from her time with Emmy, maybe just buying her time to collect information, bring it back. I feel like she's much more dangerous than we think. She will be a threat to all of us.
So on the stage, do you think she might have went back to where she were captured at the theater on Lockwood Island?
That's a good question. Which is on now?
You say witches and monsters. What would that represent? Like Sabbats? What?
Well, she was on a stage with Talbot.
And Talbot has joined the Sabbat, so
yeah.
If she got captured by the Sabbat, that would be really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, we should probably work on finding her before the Sabbat do.
Well, why don't we just drive to the places that we think she could be in order of how close they are? And I think the theater is the closest because the other one's on the north side, right?
Yep.
I'll just take off my heels. I'll be good.
I can drive if no one else wants to.
Is there any witch's house or some kind of such a thing nearby?
Not that I know of. I think that witches aren't my field of expertise.
Molly just shrugs. She's like, I'm real new with this. I don't quite know what that means.
And I personally do not know any witches.
Says the witch.
I would say, well, no.
Who's the most academic of you all when it comes to puzzles?
Is that academic or is that investigation?
It could be either. There could be an investigative eye towards solving puzzles. There could be an investigative eye towards the research necessary to have those answers. It could also simply be someone who's really good at making leaps of logic, i.e. high insight.
I'm not bad at all. I have eye insight. I don't know with what it would be weird, but not too bad at that.
Okay. Well,
I've got high academics.
Okay. Well, each of you approach the puzzles as laid out by Beatrice, because she simply described the explosive portion of her vision. There's considerably more that she could have described, but just going off of that and explosion and witches and demons, would you all be so kind as to either roll your wits plus academics or wits plus insight?
What about a cult?
How long have they been in Westphalen? Because if they are involved in the occult locally, there's several places that would immediately stand out.
That's a good question.
Didn't you just arrive like last week?
Yeah, less than a week ago.
Okay, so that rules that path of exploration out. However,
Is there a DC? Nobody?
there's always a DC, as high as you possibly can.
That's an unknown DC, I should have said.
As someone who is from this town, but not exactly well versed in the occult, can I do like wits awareness to see if I know of any like creepy haunted places that I've like just creepy houses and shit that I've seen?
Wits plus streetwise.
All right, I'll take that.
Oh, did you say I could do intelligence and academics?
Wits plus academics.
Wits. Gotcha. Apologies.
I should have written what I did.
Alright, 2. Where? Oh. All right. So, in order of leaps of logic and illogic, Nathaniel and Molly both know that there are several places throughout the city that fit that description. Something demonic in intention, something connected with cauldrons and witches, and there's several places. And unfortunately, as good upstanding members of the tower, they know that they are technically outside of the bounds of what is acceptable for a good towerite to ever be caught dead in. There are several places in the literal where, due to tourists and the attempt to separate those too rich in the moment and too dumb financially from their funds, that cater to the haunted tours, the spooky places, the unspoken places one should never go. They're all tourist traps and they're all bright and shiny, but there's no real danger to any of them. At least that's the image of them. They're safe and friendly. They're a Disney-fied version of the occult. And unfortunately, they're all in the literal. Whereas Kira, listening and comparing and being a member of the occult community, even if they approach it academically. One of the many things that one does when visiting a city to make their home is to find notable attractions, notable places. And while there's nothing friendly about the explosive action, there is something intriguing about a house, demons, and the sort. There's purportedly a very popular tourist attraction in the literal that fits that description. There's graffiti on all the walls. There are people who take hundreds of thousands of pictures for their social media account. There are people who've said that they've had supernatural events happen to them there. It is the witch's house of horror, and there's very few things that are far more horrible than coming face to face with a demon or an active ghost or a poltergeist or some specter from beyond, even if it is all fake.
Wow, looks like we're going on a dangerous field trip.
Seems like it might be somewhere in the literal. That's both vague and unuseful to me. Does anybody figured something else?
Well, if Kira mentions the House of Horror,
of course,
Beatrice will react like in a foggy and uncertain way, but still like. That would make sense. And then taking her head like as if a freaking bad headache is hitting her. I do think it's in the right way. I have either a feeling of here or probably in Belmont, but I'm unsure. I don't know why I have these feelings, but I guess it's in the right direction.
Could not be a bad place to start.
Belmont. Why do you say Belmont, Deirdre?
I feel like there's a duality. If there's maybe two of these, that's the feeling I have. But
the Belmont Church, is that where the sister I met on the first or second week is? Nobody? I don't know if you.
No, it's not. It was.
Not okay.
But
Okay.
Belmont is a well-known local myth.
It's not the Sister Maya Abigail's place. Okay.
No, but
wanted to make sure there are no
Belmont Forest and the church therein has been in the public zeitgeist for as long as it's been in existence. It's always been a place for miracles and strange things to happen. And even in its current derelict and forgotten state, it is often a place where creatures of the night such as yourself have found rumors pointing towards. Because, perfectly honest, most kindred would not be so hard on themselves if they accidentally killed homeless or drug addicts or those who are prone to being part of the forgotten contingent of society.
All right. So the Witch's House of Horror or the Belmont place? Where do we start?
I would go for the closest. I feel like.
That's a very good question. Then, where is the Witch's House of Horror?
The Witch's House of Horror is a tourist trap in the Verge on the Literal. And as we all know, the Verge is one of those weird conflated areas of absence. It's the least populated area in most of Westphalen. The houses are few and far between. It's mostly commercial and industrial. The Shoreline Midnight Market is there, but that's again a tourist trap designed to bring money into the area. It is an area of wide, expansive emptiness, providing all of the cover that creatures of the night such as yourself might need to hunt without much care.
Okay, it's closer. The Rampart is the furthest away. So I guess we'll go to the Witch House of Horror then. See if we can try our luck there.
That work?
Yeah.
So do we take 2 vehicles just in case we need to split or anything like that?
Or if one of them gets destroyed.
Yes. That too, Kira.
Are you guys planning to destroy your car?
I really hope not.
Yeah, it's a story for another time though, Beatrice, if you don't mind. I think one problem at a time.
That is always the hope, that one problem with one successful conclusion and solving of one issue would lead easily into the next that could be so easily solved as well. The logistics of taking 2 cars across the bridge into the Literal, there is no easy way to put this. It feels as if you are entering into enemy territory. The architecture itself seems determined to make you all feel small. The Verge, as you locals know, is an area that is, for the most part, only notable due to it being a tourist trap. Most of the population that visits the area hug the shore. They stay in the brightly lit spaces because out there in the Verge, in the wide expanse of this particular neighborhood, there's nothing but open sky and space and places where bodies can fall and no one would notice for weeks, if ever. Being upstanding members of the tower, this very much feels as if you are entering into a trap. And while you all know and trust each other enough to at least ride in each other's vehicle and have an idea as to who you're riding with, the real end-all be-all is that each of you all are monsters. Each of you all are predators. And while Beatrice seems small, unassuming, and kind, what better way to hide those fangs? What better way to get you all alone together in a place where she has other associates, where she has people waiting for you, where your willingness to solve an issue might make you blind to the real fact that you might be being followed, or that there's someone is ahead of you, or that any number of things. Needless to say, as you exit the expressway, emerge through the streets, and watch as the buildings go from brightly lit, neon festooned areas that to attract the eye to those quiet, dark places where the street lamps are few and far between. Where the darkness grows, and so too does the paranoia. You are heading into a deeper level of darkness to pursue someone who may know more about your kind than any living being should. A person who has faked the bulk of their existence, or at least has presented that fakery to the world.
In the car, right? I'd like to open up my pad and my person. Are we saying that we want to change it quickly, or are we still in our?
Sounds like we're still in our dress attire.
That's gonna be great. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, let me just see on the map where we were versus where.
I'll see if there's a place to stop off and just pick up different clothes.
Because my place is on the way, so that's not a big stretch for me and Kyra to get some other clothes.
Except she doesn't have any of her clothes at your place.
Molly always keeps spare ones in the truck.
Is there like a little late night store somewhere?
It would make sense for me to have at least another set at the office, but I mean, it doesn't matter because I'm like 15 minutes away from my place.
If you're fine wearing tacky hunting camo, I have clothes for all the gals.
Okay.
How tall is Molly?
A little taller than average, but not like tall. She's pretty slim.
She's how tall?
Like 5'7", 5'8".
Oh, Kira and Beatrice would be swimming in those clothes.
We will be.
Nope. If you all excuse me for a few quick moments, I have a phone call.
Yeah, let me go for it. We can discuss our clothing issues.
But just to be sure, you do have. No, you don't have anything at my place. That's right. You went back to your place.
Yeah. You just asked me to move in, so haven't done it quite yet.
Yeah.
She's not sure she will.
Yeah, of course she will.
Everything's moving a little fast.
It's not that much of a stretch to go to your place, though.
Yeah, I'm just in. No, I'm.
Well,
You're in Wolfram. It's not that far.
Yeah.
I guess Beatrice would probably take Molly's clothing if she has extra, because it would be even too big of clothes would be better than a dress, probably. And
unless you trip on the clothes.
Yeah, roll up the sleeves and the the legs and tie it at the waist, I'd say.
What? Let me go back and see what you're wearing exactly, Kira. See if you stand out that much or not.
I'm wearing a nice black dress and open-toed heels.
That's the heels that are the problems, right?
Most likely, yeah. She can run in a dress. That's not an issue.
Sorry,
it's the heels. I'll just chuck the heels.
Right.
I can go in my dress if Molly has some extra boots that fit her.
Well,
I have my coat too, so I've at least got that.
well, in truth, Nathan's place is on the way, and while he is a bit taller than everyone else, baggy clothes wouldn't be that much of a hindrance in regards to masking for everyone else. A few belts, a few pins, and if push comes to shove, a little duct tape, and you all should be fine. If you would like to alight to Casa del King, or Casa del Rey, as the case may be.
Well, Beatrice does know how to sew, so she could always do a quick stitch to make things fit correctly.
True. True.
I don't have a sewing machine.
That's
girls.
story because they still need to look good.
No, it could be just a temporary hold. It doesn't have to necessarily look good. Just like something be better than just making it
Honestly,
not.
Beatrice lives in the Midlands, right?
Yes.
It's on the way in one direction, and Wolfram isn't that big of a stretch on the other direction. So, I mean, we could like lose 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and just separate, go get some
As I said,
you said-
come back. If
I wouldn't mind. I don't mind like borrowing Molly's clothes if it's available. I don't mind.
I don't think
We're
he
not-
wants us to go to
We're
his
not.
place.
We're not going just looking for a fight, girls. I mean,
I know.
Just because we're not going looking for one doesn't mean that we couldn't find one.
well, I'll go get the car. You girls decide. When anything else leaves, to get this car so that we can.
Honestly, I just need a pair of boots. Molly, do you have a pair that would fit?
Yeah, I got an extra pair in the trunk.
I'm good to go then.
Everything about the tower is seemingly ordered. There is a natural chaos towards clamoring for power. There is a natural chaos that most on the outside would never quite see. One of the many things that is the driving force is one's position, one's standing, one height, i.e., is not necessarily the power you wield, but whose neck you stand upon to reach higher. And in Nathaniel's case, he has made a example of himself, someone who seemingly has an ethical and moral rectitude towards his clan over the tower specifically. He, in front of the court, though quietly, politely, and respectfully, rebuked the prince. So as he retrieves his parking slip from the valet and lets him know which vehicle is his, and instead of it being the 2 minutes away that it would have been, word is already spread, and he finds that it is in fact sitting there in the main lot directly across. That speaks volumes, and he is sure that he is not the only one to notice such things. The ever-changing and shifting chairs of political authority and might often presages a fall, and if he has reached the level of being noticed, he has also reached the level of being a worthy opponent for others. So as the valet rushes and hustles across the lot to his car, which has been moved, to say that there's a small trickle of dread crawling up his spine would be an understatement. It is clear that in this moment, in the fact that his car is far closer than it should be, and that the valet rush off without needing to have their palms greased, that he has officially crossed a threshold that honestly he's not sure that he's ready for it. He's a worthy opponent. He's someone to watch. He is now and has already been proven to be a target for assassins. Instead of him being killed through some mindless street crime, he very well would be reported as having been assassinated. And that's the difference as to what level of political attention he's received. The average civilian, the average person is killed or murdered or slaughtered. People of note, mayors, senators, prime ministers, kings, are assassinated. So as the vehicle returns, and Nathaniel returns back to where the ladies are waiting, because Molly, of course, being the very proud, roguish individual that they are, by dint of being gangrel, parked illegally. Her car is literally right there. It's literally right there. You could look at it and see it from where you're standing, because there's not an actual parking space there. She just made it. No one else was parking there. No one would dare move the car anyway with the attendees of Elysium, but there is no shadow of a doubt that it flouts the very real, carefully chaotic clamoring for political might. I'm playing by the rules because no one said I can't park here, but also it is a sign that, well, fuck your rules.
Yeah, that's about right.
So as Nathaniel returns, what have you all decided? Where will you alight? Will you immediately rush towards the hunt, or will you stop to properly costume yourself for what may lay ahead?
The girls decided to just get some boots from Molly. Well, I just want to be sure: is my car gonna explode? Is that what's happening? Is that what? Or did you move
Thank
it
you for
already?
the
I'm
idea.
fine.
That very much is the thought.
Because no, I just want to know because I didn't catch if it was if the valet got to it yet or not.
Yes, the valet's returned with your vehicle and steps out.
All right.
Here you are, Mr. King. It's always a pleasure. The same guy who wordlessly and politely, as far as service individuals are concerned, told you to go fuck yourself because you're a rich person, you're a rich bastard like everybody else who's going inside the opera house, is now suddenly a little more obsequious. And there's a little bit of a brighter smile. The no need for tip is apparent by the simple fact that he hands you your keys by his fingertips instead of the usual palming to hide any tip that may be exchanged.
I'll activate
Oh, no need. You others have their eyes on you.
Yeah, but that's him. I want to, and I'll ask him. That's very nice of you to have moved my car closer. I'd like to know who do I have to thank for that?
Miss Sandrine. She handles all the parking enforcement for these events.
Miss Sandrine, that's all right. I'll be sure to thank her then.
As Nathaniel is doing this, Molly is in the back of her truck changing because she is like that. She's like, whatever, black out, my windows are blacked out. She just clambers in there, like, you know how it is changing in the back of the car where everything's uncomfortable, like kicking like 3 different ways. You can probably see like her feet kick out into the front at some point, and then she stumbles out dressed normally.
So you said you had some extra spare that I could borrow?
Yeah,
Some
go ahead.
clothes?
I always keep extra hunting stuff in the car, so I mean, it might not be up to your style, but
I think it'll be more appropriate than a gallop dress. So if she accepts and she's generous enough, I'll wait my turn and then also change in the back of your van.
yeah, I think like Carhartt sweatshirts, that kind of stuff.
Kira just takes her heels off and pulls the boots on, laces them up, makes sure her coat's on tight. She's not getting changed. She's good. Checking to make sure her dagger or her knife is still in place decently.
It's the funny thing about noticing that her dagger is still there. Most people in modern society don't believe that everyone should be armed. However, it's a very much an older ideal, especially in most urban areas of America, because those streets are rough. The people who live there are rougher, and one must always be prepared to defend themselves and, well, their property. Noticing that
it's a habit she's gotten into since she was young, so.
Noticing her blade there and the perception of her clan is an interesting dichotomy, because at any point she is capable, willing, and able to let blood or worse. Yet if you pay attention to those who are suddenly fawning over Nathaniel and looking towards him, of the two of you all, socially he's by far more dangerous. But if the chips were down and she had to fight for him, herself, or even her most recently adopted coterie, she is sure that she's the far more vicious of the two. And she's not sure if it's because of her Tremere education or because of her life experiences.
So Beatrice will be sure to pull out her, she has her, like a folding knife in her purse that she'll put in her pocket, so, because probably the hunting suit must have lots of pockets, so she'll just put it in one.
Don't forget which one.
Yeah.
True.
So Ladies, do you all ride with Molly, or is somebody riding with me? As I say that as I get into the car.
I look curiously at Kira.
I will join you, Nathaniel.
And then I'll turn to Molly. Do you mind if I come with you?
Not at all. Go for it.
Okay, thanks.
I'll check in the glove compartment, the assassin's gun, if it's still there. So I didn't throw it away yet.
You did not. And it's
I don't know why you would throw it away at all.
And I'll start the car and wait for Kira to go in. Get in. Oh, actually, the car is probably still running because the valet brought it, right?
Yes.
So who is leading this drive?
That's a good question. Which of you, Molly, Nathaniel, feel that you would better know the way there?
Molly's a local. Well, we're both kind of locals, though, but I guess I'll...
You think Molly would know the way better?
It's not about who knows the way better. It's about what Nathaniel would do, actually, if he would want to be the first one. Yeah, he's gonna say, Molly, you lead the way, we'll follow you.
Sure thing.
I get in the car with Nathaniel. Buckle my seatbelt.
I'll wait for Molly to either start or pass me by. I don't know who's in front of who already, and then we continue. We're gonna follow her.
Now, the drive across the bridge, in and of itself, is a view and a sight that should not ever be missed. You get to see the wide Pamlico roiling and bubbling and making its way. You get to see Lockwood. You get to see all of the sites taking either of the northern or southern bridge routes across from the literal to the lateral. However, there also is another way around, especially if you guys are going to attempt to go to the Belmont area first. But going to the Verge, again, it is that sort of place. It's not the Midlands because there's not people packed one atop the other in their filth, but it is a potently dark area. There's commerce and business and all of those daylight things that happen, but at night it feels like you're on the surface of the moon. Anything could happen, and everything does. So which way would you guys like to travail? Up and around through Wolfram, down through the Sept and into the Verge, or would you like to take the bridge?
I'll let Molly decide since she's on point.
No pressure.
Probably the first one.
Go through Wolfram, is that it?
Yeah, that's a more familiar area.
Alright.
Wolfram is...
I would say, by the way, Nathaniel, you might want to remove your lovely silver vest. You don't want to stick out too much where we're going.
Alright, I'll probably have a spare shirt, like a white one in the car. This is businessman thing to do, so I'll remove the silver shirt and actually there's it's a vest, so I can just remove that. Yeah. I'll do that.
So you can keep your shirt on. It might be a good idea considering the ward I put on it.
Sure.
You never know.
Good idea.
Kira made a ward against bullets. Nice.
Oh yeah, I put a ward against ghouls on his shirt at the beginning of the night.
Very apropos.
I'm sorry?
Very apropos, especially considering what you all might be heading towards. There are stories that abound, little nothing tales that are just spoken about, much like people use small talk to talk about the weather, their dogs, their pets, their kids, their husbands, their wives. It's a nothing bit of fluff that you all would immediately know Not simply because you guys have experienced it, but it's always that, a friend of a friend, kindred of kindred that I once knew, had a ghoul that, got free and was a wild, untamed ghoul. And they found a way to make sure that they stayed a ghoul. We're not sure exactly how it's that sort of tale. Like, the ghouls are out for kindred blood as well. It's usually told to scare fledglings into obeying their master and understanding how to properly break someone's mind and make them a ghoul. But the truth of the matter is, it's never far from your thoughts when considering this is Emmy's incidental and accidental doing. You are sure that the woman was ghouled based on how she operated around Emmy. However, now they're out there in the wild. What happens when a fiend, an addict, can no longer get their fix? What depravity might they get up to if they can't get something to ameliorate their pain, something to ease their suffering, something to help feed their beast, the dragon that's riding their backs? So what might Amelia get up to?
I feel like she would be plotting, probably, or planning to reveal more, or I just have put us in danger. That's the only thing I can think of.
So without realizing, Molly leads you up on north, then east, and then south. And in the doing, with you all taking lesser routes and back ways and frontage roads and side streets, you managed to avoid all of the surveillance on the expressway. You managed to avoid all the surveillance on the bridge. You managed to get away from the bulk of the fast-moving and snarled traffic through the major thoroughfares. Finding yourself in the verge, specifically in the area of the witch's house of horror, you realize it is a perfectly situated place. There are businesses up and down the street, left and right of it, north and south of it. There's alleyways all around it, providing ease and means of egress. And looking on it, you have to admit that someone put a lot of effort and work into making it attractively garish. It is immediately off-putting by the sheer volume of color. It's loud without ever saying a word. There's no music thumping, nothing like that, no huge speakers along the building, but all of the graffiti, all of the murals, all of them are bright and wondrous and colorful. Even at night, they stand out in a way that staid, respectful, responsible, tasteful individuals may not want to be seen in or near. For those of you who have sensed the unseen, is it active?
I think no one has.
No, I don't have that.
Pretty sure Kara has it.
I was just talking and realized I muted myself. I technically have Sense the Unseen, but never did like a scene where she was practicing to get it right. Guess now is better than ever, yeah?
Well, there's always right and then there's eventful. Which would you rather have in this moment?
Yes.
I look forward to you gazing into the abyss, Charles.
Let's do it.
Excellent. Have you ever touched one of those globes that causes your hair to stand on end in real life? Yes. That's exactly what it's like the moment you are within a quarter of a mile of the witch's house of horror. You have tripped some invisible spiritual tripwire. And Nathaniel, you've never seen this happen with Kira before, because the glasses, even with the lights, with the street lights passing by and glinting off of them occasionally, you've never seen her eyes glow. Not the eerie red that you've seen some gangrel, not the yellow or anything like that. There's not a film at the back of her eye that's catching the light, causing it to look as if it's glowing. No, her eyes are actually glowing. They're producing their own light. And to drive it home, to beat this horse past his deathbed, that's not natural. And that's saying a lot for a kindred who lives in an unnatural world. You've never seen this actually happen to anyone, let alone someone that you've shared tender moments with. It is suddenly being presented with an alien. It's like she's grown 3 heads. Because as she's looking out the window and looking past you, taking in the sights, because you all never crossed the river into the literal, her eyes are glowing. This pale white glow. If you bother to take the effort to try to look through her glasses to see her actual pupils, they don't exist. The entirety of her eye, the entire orb, is a white that's taking in everything around her. And she's very much a tourist. First time in Times Square, or first time at Niagara Falls, or first time at the San Francisco Bay Bridge. The oohs and ahs are silent, but the awe is still there. And for Kira, when you get close and you guys are moving through the street behind Molly's car, you begin to see all manner of people, all manner of old and young, and some who, and it takes a second for you to realize it, but some of them are missing bits and pieces of themselves, as if they're blinking in and out of reality as you watch these pale gray embers of emotions and feelings and people and the loved and cherished memories of those who have long since departed. As you move through the streets, you watch as certain houses flicker from bright, vibrant, live color into this faded simming of itself. And you see architecture that has not been around in 5-10 decades. You see actual Confederate officers riding the street on their pale horses, cavalry sabers drawn, looking and hunting for where they died. That reality begins to slowly affect your perception of what you're seeing. You are seeing the overflow of souls drawn to a spiritual epicenter, a furnace, if you will, to warm their afterlives. And those places exist all around the world, and you've read so much about the ley lines and dragon roads and tears in the veil and all those sorts of things. There's 100 different theories as to why it happens, but what you can definitively state is that if there is a tear or a ley line, all the souls who have access to that area in the spirit world or in this one are drawn to it like moths to a flame. The bigger the tear, the more spirits, the more specters, the more entities from the other side will be near at hand. And the streets are littered with them. The spaces between buildings crawling with them.
Wow.
Nathaniel will put his hand on Kira's lap, just like slowly. Movarian, you okay? The concern can be heard in his voice.
She doesn't respond right away. She's still taking this in. It's like, I am seeing ghosts everywhere, spirits from all kinds of timelines. They are littered all over this place, even buildings that are no longer here. There's a lot going on in this area.
Does it look safe to you?
How pragmatic is Kira?
I'm sorry?
How pragmatic is Kira? She knows that Nathaniel's looking at her, keeping a loose eye out of the window. But how pragmatic is she when driving in the car with someone else?
I mean, she is I'd say she's pretty pragmatic.
All right, sounds like a plan. So she's watching and looking around her, and Nathaniel's talking to her and speaking to her, and there's running directly between the cars, just as Molly passes the green light, is a woman in her late teens, maybe early 20s, but she is clearly distraught, and she runs between the cars too fast for Nathaniel to clearly see her, and he is about to strike her. What does Kira do?
She yells for him to hit the brakes. Because it still kind of freaks her out. She's not used to this kind of thing. Wait, did you say that it was? Did you say it was a live person, or can I tell they're dead?
Oh, she definitely looks alive. Her bright blonde hair, her crystalline blue eyes filled with fear. Her sweat you can almost smell from where you're sitting.
Oh yeah, then I definitely throw my arm out to grab his arm or to grab his shoulder, and I'm like, "Stop the car!"
What is this? Did we lose Natalia?
No, I'm here. I clearly stopped the car. I'm just I hit the brakes, that's for sure.
Slamming on the brakes immediately catches Molly's attention because you are halfway across. The light's already changed, and then Daniel's car stopped for no reason whatsoever. And it stops fast. It stops as if something happened, or they're braking to not run into a wall. Something happened. What do you do?
She's gonna be right back.
Okay.
She wrote that 1 minute ago, so she said swiftly. PRB shouldn't take too long.
I did not check there. Good call. Sorry about that.
I was thinking that maybe she was muted or something, so I looked to it.
Well, we're driving. We're at point, so if the figure stops and jumps in between the two cars, I guess. I don't know if you've seen it.
You'd hear the squealing of brakes, and as the driver of the rearview mirror, your car behind you stopping suddenly, even though you can't see the brake light, there is some illumination from it when they slam on the brakes, and you hear the slight grinding that happens. So it would attract your attention, and you're looking back, and Nathaniel's car stopped halfway across the street. And for you, Beatrice, it immediately triggers the idea of being surrounded by enemies. Immediately triggers the idea of you standing back to back with Amelia as the other kindred point and laugh at some semblance of a prank.
Sorry, you said that I feel like Amelia is right beside me?
Yes, back to your vision. It immediately comes back to your premonition, and immediately comes back when she fell and landed in the basement of the theater beneath the stage, and you all were center stage, as it were, surrounded by kindred dressed as demons and witches and what have you, being pointed and laughed at as this was some huge prank. You definitely feel that now when Nathaniel's car slamming on the brakes behind you for no apparent reason in the middle of the intersection.
I grab, not half gently, not too hard, but just grab her arm and ask, stop. Something's happening. Again, Beatrice starts hyperventilating a bit, as if she's breathing. So I guess Molly will hit the brake also. I hope.
Molly, you make it back in?
You said she had a work question that came up.
Okay, no worries.
What?
So, well,
No, I'm back on. I'm definitely gonna break.
okay. All right, sounds like a plan. So slamming on your brake, you realize that Nathaniel's sitting in the middle of an intersection. Now, while the lights do work, you know the adage in Westphalen: no cop, no stop. He's in the middle of an intersection. Him and Kira sitting in a very well-to-do car, and not necessarily the best of areas. This sort of area where, perfectly honest, if you were an urban hunter, you'd set up a blind and just wait. Because intersections are a great way to find riches, to find vehicles, to divest people who clearly don't need what they have of those items.
So do I see the person in the street?
What person in the street?
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the sensible thing, which is act like I don't know who they are and lay on the horn. And then lean out of the window and be like, "Get going, jag off."
And then you hear this from Molly's car ahead of yours.
If I don't see a woman in front of my car, I clearly start moving again.
Meanwhile, I'm staring
at the woman standing directly
I'm staring at
on the corner. She's pointing across the street as if she is witness to the greatest horror she's ever found in her life, moving towards her inexorably, unstoppably. It's that frozen in moment fear that you've had several times throughout your life and unlife. You know what that is. That's dread that you can't stop whatever it is going to happen.
I look in the direction that she's pointing. Do I see something?
Oh, yes. Would you be so kind to roll your wits and awareness for me, please?
Who? Everybody or just her?
Kira.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, dear sweet God, this is going to be shitty.
Death takes many forms. It comes slowly. It sometimes comes creeping alongside of the bed one night when you're just had your 75th birthday surrounded by grandchildren and loved ones and choked down a more than your fair share of pizza, and surprisingly the heartburn that always happens with the tomato sauce never does. It oftentimes leaps out of nowhere when you're on this side street just exploring the city. Sometimes it happens at this hour of the evening behind a vehicle running over another. In her case, in the blonde's case, and the young lady who's standing there watching it happens quickly. The vehicle oncoming, not being able to stop it. And Kira realizes that that's exactly what she's looking at. Those bright lights was how the young girl died. The truck ending her existence, her running for her life because she knew who was behind the wheel. It was... And while that's happening, Molly, Nathaniel's car starts to move once more. You got him moving and you're waiting for him to cross the street so you guys can continue on your sojourn back to the witch's house of horror so you can get to the bottom of this, so you can find Amelia. And much like you expected, much like you thought, this is a perfect place to set up a blind and just do things. If you are an urban hunter, if you were one of the gangrels that preyed on the public and decided to take from them whenever you chose, this would be the perfect spot. And you're not the only one that knows that. The oncoming truck is fast, it's big, and it's clear they didn't want to be someone else's victim, and so they had every intention of running the light until they saw the vehicle and they tried to slam the brakes, but it's too late. Air brakes work a little slower than you think. Nathaniel, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your dexterity and drive?
Yeah,
let's actually get plowed over by a truck.
Yes, because apparently my car is a magnet for trouble.
You're not allowed to have nice things, it seems.
No nice things for anyone. This is Westphalen. We always fail upwards.
You should have taken that forward.
Let me take a willpower on that one.
Oh God! All right,
down. Let me just rouse though. Oh, at least that went well.
You know, Nathaniel, if you don't have Drive 1, you should probably think about buying it.
It is literally my next buy. Literally, either that or Herd and then Drive 1. I think like 1 or 2 weeks. Like maximum 10 days away from having it. But I mean, what can I do when I roll 1, 2, 2, 1 and then 3 to 4?
Yeah. Fate and her sisters and her husband and her girlfriends have the most raucous, gut-rumbling laugh there is.
Mm-hmm.
As the specter, the cruel, higher-ranking member of the spirit world, attempts to play its prank on the living. at a killing zone. It has witnessed several hundred robberies. It has witnessed several hundred almost killings. It has witnessed and spurred on all manner of chaos at this particular intersection. And it has sought to do that this evening, to have a laugh, to have a chuckle. It didn't know that the truck driver was a little more nervous than he should be. He didn't know that Nathaniel was a magnet, or more specifically, his vehicle was a magnet for less than nefarious incidents. So as it lures and tempts and teases, and has done so for the bulk of the evening, it is holding its sides, laughing at the soon to be lost human life, because what spirits and specters know is that upon death, it is equal to a nuclear explosion of energy that they can feed on, that they can stay closer to the warmth that is the living. They can occasionally use that energy to tear their way across the veil, to hide here in the skinlands, to not be hunted by, well, we don't talk about those things. And as it expects death, as it expects that release of energy as the vehicle plows into the other, it is surprised. No one dies. No one is dead. There's not that bright shining light of two or more souls entering into the afterworld. It is denied that pleasure. And as it is denied that pleasure, Kira, pulling herself from the fugue of being broadsided, watches as the spirit's face and features, devoid of all semblance of life, it grays out. The hair becomes stringing. The bald pate beneath all of that gloriously long facade of hair becomes apparent. Its eyes empty of light and become black pits of greed and avarice and violence that has wreaked upon the skinlands, upon the living. And she realizes that the world of the dead is just as duplicitous and just as predatory as the world of the living. For Nathaniel, for the second time in as few days, his car receives unnecessary, unneeded damage. In this case, it was the driver's accident, spurred on by the spirit. However, that doesn't take the insult of having his car one more time fucked up by idiots. And having watched the car be broadsided, T-bone to be exact, what is it that Molly and Beatrice are doing?
Well, a part of me just panics. Like, what the hell is happening? And, well, scared for their lives, pretty much. Are we in the intersection also? Or
no, you guys were past the intersection, remember? You were just ahead of them.
Okay. I would like, I would ask Molly, can you stop to figure out what's happening? They're okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess as soon as we're parked, I would go out cautiously and look around, be sure that... Is that creepy feeling still there? Like we are...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's gone from being a simple prank to there's some maliciousness in the air. You can feel it running along your skin. It causes little pinpricks, like the whole of your skin has gone to sleep, like your limbs are, well, temporarily dying. You feel that prickle of energy along, and you know that whatever less than malicious intent has turned darker. It has turned into full outright malice. It is, well, it is as it is.
So once I'm out, I would say I'd slowly walk toward the car to be sure, like being on high alert if nobody's around, and then getting closer to the car, see if they're all right. And if the other car... What?
No one's around except for the driver of the truck. It was a moving truck that Shouldn't have been out this late. He shouldn't have been picked up the extra shift. He shouldn't have taken the job all the way out here in the Verge. But money is important. Money is how we continue living, how you put food on your table and provide for those that you love. So, of course, he took the job. Of course, he was as careful as he could be. And, of course, there are forces in the world that will manipulate at the least opportunity. And this was the least opportunity. If not for his attempt to slam on the brakes, the crash would have been considerably worse. As it stands, the car is so drivable, though it looks far worse than it actually is. Nathaniel, being the heir apparent to all of the kindred's social standing in the world, has a vehicle that is fairly new, so it has crumple zones to minimize the damage of such incidents such as this. It is designed to be far safer because it allows the energy of collision, the kinetic force, to be spread out, passed along, so it doesn't immediately slam into the frail human bodies inside. Doesn't stop it from looking like what it is. Horrible.
Okay, so do they start moving again? Their car?
The driver of the truck is trying to get his senses about him. The airbag's deployed. He's in the middle of a neighborhood he would rather not be in the middle of at this hour of the evening, and his fear, stoked by the spirit, is apparent. It's wafting off of him like a very fine perfume. Fear-tinged blood is very, very sour. It's one of those rare tastes that once you get acclimated to it, that's kind of all you want, and it is delicious.
Is there blood in the car?
It's all over the steering wheel.
Oh shit. Okay. Do they react to me approaching the car and their car and the truck?
No, he's still out of it. He's not quite himself yet.
Oh no, I mean Nathaniel and Kira.
Well,
Nathaniel's gonna get out as soon as his head stops ringing. I don't know if vampires' heads ring when they get slammed that hard, but
So she'll call, are you guys alright?
Daniel's gonna look down at the car, see is Kira alright?
Kira shoves the airbag out of the way and she just starts swearing in Gaelic. So he's fine. She gets out of the car.
I approach carefully the car, maybe shutting off my my smell so I'm not too driven crazy by the smell of blood. And I'll go see the other driver. And also ask them what happened. Why did you guys stop?
There was a woman running across the road.
Were no woman. There was no woman. There were no women. What?
There was a woman. She ran across the road. I saw her. That's why I told you to stop.
Nathaniel is doing his best to contain his rage right now, so he's just walking kind of away, in circle.
The woman is standing on the curb, not far from where Nathaniel was beginning to pace. Her deathly pallor is obvious. The fact that she is not living but has the strength to appear so is also obvious to Kira. There are several other things beginning to happen, as it is clear that the driver of the truck is going into shock. He slammed his head as the airbag deployed, breaking his nose, and potentially doing so much worse, because humans, unlike kindred, have soft, squishy innards that they need. His brain slamming around inside his skull, the seatbelt cutting into his clavicle, the lap belt all but pressing down on all those very sensitive nerves in people's hips that they don't realize are there until they are triggered, are all happening at once. The emptied bowel because of the pressure of the accident is another matter entirely. Kira, in her studies, has some medical experience, some medical knowledge, at least from a scientific base, and there are several things that happen when the body is subjected to such forces. And if one is stressed, overworked, has any pre-existing conditions, it is only exacerbated. And the amount of blood flowing from his nose and across the steering wheel is a definitive sign.
Well, we need to call the police then. Call the 911 to call an ambulance for him.
Yeah, I'll do that.
What? So Kira's staring over at this woman who had run through, or who had run across the way. You said she was definitely kindred, I could tell.
She's definitely unliving, yes.
Well, I don't know her. So I'm like, guys, both of you, maybe we should get going. I don't trust this right now.
Well, I have a feeling we are where we need to be. Where the show's happening. And I look around.
You look away from her and she's suddenly at the car door, by the way, Kira.
What?
You look away from the formerly blonde woman who ran across the street. Just a second. She's standing 2 feet from Nathaniel. You look away and look towards Beatrice. And then you look back and she's standing at the car door looking at you. Her brow raised. The empty sockets that were her eyes, completely devoid of light. It is literally a pit of darkness. A pit into the Shadowlands themselves. And her skin graying by the second as her fingernails lengthen, her hair straggles and grows, much like it seems all corpses do upon death. And she's staring at you, analyzing you, trying to decide, can you see her?
I look into the forest behind or at the corners. Is there a forest? Is there buildings? Is there trying to see if like there could be some good hiding spots or a cabin or something like that could be a hideout.
You are definitely in an area where, perfectly honest, if you wanted to hide, you can walk into that field about 50 feet to your left, which is heading back west, and lay down. The grass is unkept. It is clear that the infrastructure for the area isn't what it should be. The municipal government isn't what it should be. With the thaw having come, those piles and piles of snow, all 3-4 inches of it, have melted, turning the ground nice and soggy and moist. You could lay in that field and no one would find you. The mud would kind of just absorb you into itself. The grass would grow over where you are, and it's already high enough that even at your height, all it would take would be a hunch, not a full crouch, to hide amongst it.
Okay, so I'll go towards the field and look at the ground. Can I see steps, traces, like an indication of somebody has walked here recently?
As you're analyzing the area, as you're investigating.
They called the police. Yeah, I would like to investigate.
While you are investigating, inspiration often comes in flashes. It's little snippets of this and that form those synapses firing in your head anywhere from 200 to 1,000 per second into full-fledged thoughts. In much the same way inspiration happens. There are all these lights going off in your head as the neurons are firing and colliding, and the energy and electricity turns into something else. As you're looking at the field and you're looking around, looking for steps, looking for any clue as to which way to go, because this makes no sense. We're out here in the middle of nowhere. There's been a crash. There's been a spirit involved. There's been God knows what's going on out there tonight. And Amelia's somewhere safe, somewhere out of the way, somewhere near enough at hand where she could. And then you see it across the field on the next street over. There is a arcade. They don't exist in this day and age. And most people have game systems or PCs or laptops that they do their gaming on from the comfort of their own home. But there it is. The Castlevania Arcade of Westphalen. A place where the adults of discerning taste can go and play arcade games, pinball games, all night long with alcohol. You see the bright neon, which doesn't really stand out in all of this gloom because it's in the middle of nowhere. But from there, you can see the intersection. From there, you can see the next street over because it's wide and vacant as these lots are. Each one has its own tactical strategic advantage. There's no way to approach without being seen. There's no one who would approach who didn't intend to be there. So you know that you'll have guests. It's...
So, well, it's kind of hard, Molly, because unless you are out, it's hard to shout it. But I'll move back to the group and look at that arcade place. And
wait, you're just walking off without us?
Well, I walked to like the corner of the intersection. That's what I understood. Like, see if there were traces going into the woods, into the fields. I would just come back to you. I didn't go per se into it. I just looked at it, and then
Gotcha.
I'll point out at the building. Like, again, I have a weird feeling. I think we need to go there and point the arcade building. So, and I look at those guys like, is somebody calling the police? What are we doing?
I'm already calling the police.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm calling 911.
To say that it's another of Westphalen's jokes would be beating that horse too far into its grave. But unlike most major cities, Westphalen's 911 is a little more pointed. It's not automated because they believe in paying back and giving back to the community. So it is very much a live person on the other end. And it's clear that there's some speech they're supposed to be following, but you doubt if it's that. Because the phone rings and immediately is picked up. I have to call 911. Who's dead?
No one's dead, at least.
Excellent. What do you need? Police, fire, or someone dying?
Someone dying, I guess.
All right, hang on 1 second. Let me see if I can bring up your location. Is this Mr. King?
It is Mr. King.
Ah, Mr. King. Okay. Is this person someone that you owe a debt to, or someone that is otherwise in your debt?
Is this a serious question?
Yes, sir. I would not play with this. We have quite a few people who try to establish an alibi by otherwise calling the police after they've done things to people who owe them. Gambling is our number one export.
Well, if it's someone who owes debt to me or the other way around, I don't know because it's a random truck that slammed me in the street.
Oh, okay. So this is a vehicular accident. They didn't hit you with their vehicle, did they?
They hit my vehicle with their vehicle. Yes.
Okay. So it is a vehicular accident. I'll get the police right out. I see your location is here in the Virgin, not far from the Vertices court there. Do you have any other witnesses to prohibit you being arrested on the site?
I beg your pardon, if I have witnesses for what?
Yes, were there any witnesses to the accident?
Yes, one.
Okay. Is this person related to you?
Not by blood, no.
Okay, so they married into the family. This is your spouse, your wife, your husband?
Nope.
Okay, excellent. Just want to make sure that we have all of the paperwork necessary. We don't want to waste the city's time. Now, is there anyone in direct need of medical attention on the scene, or this can be handled through insurance?
Yes, the truck drivers doesn't seem to be well.
Okay, all right. Sounds like a plan. Do you have the name of the truck? Is there a name on the truck, or is this a private vehicle?
I don't know. Is there?
Yeah, there's a moving company name on the side of the truck, number and address, and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, it's a moving company called.
Oh, excellent. What company?
I don't know, Westphalen Movers.
Oh yes, that's a good one if you're going to get hit by any of them. Hang on one second here. Let me just enter. Do you have the truck number? It should be there on the bottom left of the signage on the side of the truck.
All due respect, man, I'm pretty sure the first respondent can look up the number of the truck themselves when they come up.
Well, if we have that information, we can make sure that the paperwork for the eventual lawsuit is already taken care of. Westphalen Movers. Oh, 6 accidents in the last year. Excellent. Now, Mr. King, you are approximately 4.5 minutes from Officer Westphalen and his partner, Assunta. Officer Assunta and Westphalen will be there fairly shortly. Could you please remain at the scene? I'll let them know. Is there anything else we need to know about you, or you in need of medical attention?
No, I'm fine.
Excellent.
I am, however, in a hurry to meet with a very important person. So if they could hurry up, because I need to be gone from here in like 10 minutes.
Well, our response time is far less than 10 minutes. I'll have someone there fairly shortly. The EMTs are about 2.5 minutes out. They'll be there before the police. Is there anything else that we need? The name of your witness. That way we can have the paperwork already started.
Just give me a moment. I'll ask her.
Okay.
I'll put it on hold. I'll put her either on hold or my hand on the phone so she doesn't hear. So, I need one witness. Any volunteers?
Molly just yells out of the car, "You don't want me. Whoever's not being witnessed, get in the car and we go to the next place while you guys deal with the cops."
Alright, so B and Beatrice and Molly, you go take a look. Me and Kira will be right behind you.
Okay, will do.
Good. You should hit the
So
fan
I'll
as well.
come and join you, Molly.
Yep, and we'll skedaddle on out of there.
Kira, is there anything wrong about your name? Or can I give it to them? You're muted. Still muted.
Sorry, I'm sorry. No, I think we're good.
You're not alone, blank buddy or anything. Okay, right. So I'll take the phone back. Yeah, her name is Kira McCreeve.
I see. Kira. Hang on a second. McCreeve. All right, sounds like a plan. We have the officers en route. The EMT will be there fairly shortly. Is there anything else I can help you with tonight, or can I end this call?
Can I get a coffee?
It's fine. You can end the call.
All right, thank you so very much for calling Westphalen Emergency Services. You have as enjoyable night as possible. Thank you, Mr. King.
And then now I have a very good question. Do I know the name of the officer in question?
Due to your...
What's the name you said? You said where?
Assunta Westphalen.
Westphalen? Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, no. It's just officers.
Yeah, I know. So there's a particular officer I don't want to see, so it's fine. So I will wait for the officers, I guess.
What's the blonde dead chick still doing?
Inspecting
I'm still concerned.
you.
Me?
Inspecting you. You seem to be the only person who can actually see her now that she's gone invisible. When she is putting forth her energy to seem human and operate in the Skinlands, her being seen is not odd. When she stops and drops that seeming, when she returns to what she actually is, a specter of a deceased individual, long dead and strong enough, having fought in the Deadlands for what energy she has, most people can't see her. Yet you are looking directly at her as she's looking directly at you. That's odd.
I reach out toward her.
I'll grab Kira though as soon as Molly and Beatrice are gone, so you might get interrupted when trying to reach out to her.
And a very good thing as well. Unbeknownst to Kira, reaching out to something who sees you, who you see it, sometimes when you stare into the void, it not only stares back, it forms a very stalker possessive relationship. And in this particular case, for a spirit that is known and derives its energy from the death of the living, who brings the living to create those opportunities, the opportunity to live in that warmth, to absorb that continued existence, to be far closer to the skin lens than they ever have, would have been a risk they would have taken gladly. They would have leaped at the opportunity for touch, for contact, to crawl inside and wear you like a skin suit. Nathaniel grabbing your arm and moving you away saves you, and there's some part of you, some part of that wide, vast, trivial, and academic knowledge that is residing in Kira's head that knows in that second something just walked over her grave. Some twist of fate has kept her from being well and truly deceased.
Jesus.
So yeah, I grab Kira and I move Iron. What the fuck? It just happened.
So you know how I said that there was a woman. She's dead, but standing right over there.
When you say standing right over there, she's standing looking at Nathaniel. A hiss, silent because, well, dead men tell no tales, neither do their women. And the attempt at anger is obvious. If Nathaniel could see it, if Nathaniel decided to open himself, you are sure that something untoward would happen because it is furious with him.
Kira decides to take his arm and lead him back towards the vehicle. Like, let's come on, Maury. Let's just go over here. Don't look over there. Just
You need to tell me what happened. I mean, that's not. It's a second car in this week. We get slammed off the road.
I told you, dead person. Thought it was real, and I think it is.
It's you know what? I'll put my hand on Kira's shoulder. It's fine. The Primogen offered me a new car, so I had to refuse because I had this one. I guess I'll have a nicer car. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And speaking of sorry and unreal, there's something but both about the idea of an arcade in this day and age. Again, people have consoles, people have computers, people have all manner of playing games that are being played with enough power to send people to the moon. Yet an actual arcade filled with that 8-bit and 16-bit and occasional 72-bit glory is very much the idea of the past. It is very much underwhelming. There's some kitsch and novelty to it, but as you look at all of the gleaming, bouncing, bright, vibrant machines, it seems like you're walking through a museum that wants to swallow you whole. So parked out front, Molly, Beatrice, what do you all do? What are you going to wait for Nathaniel and Kira, or are you guys going to go in and investigate?
Well, I would personally try at least get an idea of the surrounding. Is there more than one door? Is there probably traces? I don't know if it's asphalt or dirt. If it's dirt, probably it's going to be easier to spot if there's somebody that got in recently. Is it active? Is it like are there people inside?
Are there any other cars?
That too.
The parking lot is strangely filled. There are all manner of trucks with gun racks. There are old Chargers and various muscle cars from the past. There's a decided feel that people who associate here are a little off the grid, are a little bit off of current times. They're, hipsters or Luddites or a combination of the two. This definitely looks like the crowd that would have record collections. This definitely looks like the crowd that has a wall of VHS cassettes. This is the crowd that for this is a night out. It's not, they're not the sort to probably have the newest laptop, desktop. They probably have phones that are literally only phones. This is a crowd that down to earth and homespun. This is the sort of environment that Molly would normally be at home with. They're the hunters, the trappers, those who live off the land as best as they could, or at least pretend to be. Like I said, either Luddites or hipsters.
And Molly went to college, so she knows the hipster type too.
So if the place is running, if there's a lot of people in, I guess we're safe. But
a lot of people is roughly about 12 at this hour.
Yeah, it's not empty. That's what I mean. So people getting in wouldn't be something that off-putting, that abnormal. That's what I mean.
On the social media search, were there any cars in the pictures?
Yes, there were. There were several. Lots of muscle car conventions, and you can see her draped across the hood of one car or next. They were at several gun shows, again, being the floor girls, the young ladies who walk around in the two pieces or the long dresses that are designed to show off their forms to highlight the merchandise and product being sold. Several of those small little parties and venues and conventions, but the antique muscle car shows have been on multiple posts, usually 2 to 3 times a year.
Are there any muscle cars at the lot right now?
Only several. Pristine,
okay,
waxed, well cared for. The sort of thing that is clearly a showpiece of someone's collection, if not the collection.
I will quickly make note of those, and if I have time, just write down the license plates in my phone, just like as a note, and then you'd be like, I guess we can head inside. I don't see any reason to.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Also, just a thing that I need to know before. Did we see the paper? Do we know what she looks like?
Molly's read the paper for sure.
Okay, perfect.
Molly keeps up on local news. And I'm sure I can pull up the online version. I'm sure it's behind a paywall, but whatever. Yeah,
well, because I don't think I didn't think probably Beatrice would have asked, but I didn't ask as the player. So if you could show me, at least make sure that we try to find the right person.
You saw her in your vision, though, so you...
Yeah,
true.
And the social media, yeah.
Sure, okay,
but
perfect.
You saw her in your premonition, so you know what she looks like.
Okay, so let's get in, and we're, in fact, dressed in hunting clothing, so we'll fit right in.
Yeah, like flannels, Carhartts, sweatpants.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, and one small factor, being as you all were leaving Elysium, being as you all were dressed to associate with Kindred, I must ask, is everyone blushed?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That would be rude not to.
Come on.
Well, it's not like Kindred to be rude. We understand. Completely holy. So, Molly, not so much for you, Beatrice, because in this moment, as you step through the door of what you thought would be kitschy and what you thought was novel, the moment you step through the door, the moment you step into that warmth, that brightness, that aliveness, you feel like you've come home. While there are arcade machines all over the place, while there are pinball machines in various corners, and even that very much rigged basketball game, You know what it's like to be in a hunting lodge. You know what it's like to be amongst others who keep wary of their surrounding, because just around the next bush is that 6.5.4 pump buck. Around the next corner might be that boar that can feed you for the next 6 months. Around you are home. You are in the full bosom of fellow hunters. The idea of them being hipsters is immediately out the window as you catch. There's a Ruger Red Hawk on someone's hip. There's an actual used hunting knife on someone else's hip. There's a Van Brace that clearly has seen better days of non-combat on another. You see beneath the cowboy hat the eyes that are watching all of the entrances and doors, and you are sure the fact that you all traipse through the parking lot, that you are noticed, that you are watched, that much like every good hunter, they are patiently trying to decide whether you'll feed them or this might be their last hunt. And the moment you all walk in, finally your ensemble's in full view. The only question is, where the fuck is your gun? Where the fuck is your knife? You don't seem to have any weapons.
I think Molly has a pocket knife on her, not a big one, but her like actual like hunting kit is fully in the bed of the truck right now. Like, if this is, she debates going back for it to not look like a poser, but she's like, well, I got this little pocket knife, and that's enough for right now. I don't want to look like I'm worried, like I have a small dick, like trying to one up everyone here by, ooh, I got to get my big scary fucking fillet knife. No, she's like, she walks in with the confidence of someone who knows that whatever she's got on hand, she can work with.
And Beatrice.
Yeah.
To properly describe the feeling, you are the new kid at school. Everyone's a foot taller and several grades meaner. Everyone looks as if they fight for profit and fun. Everyone looks at you as if you are the smallest fish in this pond. There's an immediate appraisal of softness. There's an immediate appraisal of not being wary enough. There's an immediate appraisal that happens when you walk into a social group that has no common ground with where you are. You can feel the eyes upon you. You can feel the weight of the glares evaluating you head to toe. The slightly tighter hips through your ensemble, the fact that the arms on you look as if you're not quite ready to throw a punch or throw a stab at something charging you. The fact that you're entering on Molly's left is a point in your favor because you don't want to obstruct the primary hand, but you don't look like as if you have had the opportunity to field strip a buck. You don't look like you've had the opportunity to stand in a stream of frigid cold water and wait for hours for your prey. You very much look very urbane. There's a civility about you that seems to be missing.
Yeah, well, especially since I'm wearing oversized clothing. I try to fit, and our hair is still done in an updo. So it's kind of a weird feeling, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll try to ignore their leers and their leers and try to look for Amelia. I'll follow Molly because I feel like I need to stay in her shadow.
Is there a bar in here, or is it just a regular arcade?
Oh no, there's a full-fledged bar. And by full-fledged, I mean that any variety of whiskey you want and any variety of Pilsner you want, you could probably find. As far as the other drinks, anything that's not bourbon, anything that's more than single pot, any of the newer carbonated Kool-Aid that the public is drinking, the Truly, the sparkling, whatever, no, that's not here. This is a location where you take a dirty glass because it's a sign of how tough you are. This is a place where when you order, give me a whiskey, they just grab the nearest bottle because it's all whiskey, it's all bourbon, it's all very much the sort of place where tough men and women go to be around their peers.
Yeah, Molly will grab a rye neat, no ice at the bar and just fake sip on as the night goes on.
Moving to the bar is swimming downstream. It gets easier because the fact that you're willing to parlay and partake of the environment is a point in both of you all's favor. It is clear that you are still being appraised. It is clear that you are still being weighed and measured. But as you all belly up to the bar and Molly orders a rye, and they pour, there's no attempt to even reach for the bucket of ice nearby. You say rye and they just start pouring. They grab the nearest bottle of rye, and there's that 4 count and that 5 count and that 6 count. What the fuck? And 7 count. And somewhere around 9 or 10, the bartender remembers that what they're doing and just stops. A little bit sloshes over the bar. And they slide it across to you. $4. $4
Take
for a
it,
double.
take it, pay, and tip half, as is customary.
Just a rules question. You made in the 8. Can we drink that kind of stuff, or we'll just vomit it out afterwards?
You can hold it down. You can hold it down without any real effort. You don't have to spend any willpower to fight your natural. I don't need this. Get it out of my system. However, before sunrise, it will empty your system.
Okay. I guess she'll order one. One shot of whiskey. One shot of whiskey. I'll stay. Unsure.
Just a shot. All right. And he just grabs another bottle and tilts it up. Does the long, stretchy pour, which is literally just a show off. And then he sets it back down. And he begins to slide it, but then he stops. So he picks the glass up, walks by the register, fiddles around next to the register, and comes back with an umbrella and sticks it inside and slides it to you.
Molly will laugh at her misfortune just a little bit.
Oh, thank you. And I'll pay. I'll pay whatever he asks and plus
$2. And the moment that Molly begins to laugh, there is an immediate breaking of the ice. The fact that the joke was caught by one of you and both of you took it so well, you are immediately, suddenly okay. The constant watching, the open watching is over. People start laughing as you laugh, and they go back to what they're doing, talking amongst themselves, playing a game here or there. Unlike most proper places, you don't sit your glass on the pool table. You don't sit your glass on the entertainment. Here, you see beer bottles hanging on top of the pinball machine. You see a few people who've left rock glasses on the Miss Pac-Man machine. The Galaga machine is just an absolute clusterfuck of people who have gotten angry and broken a glass here or there. And the glaring fact is that it's all booze. It's all straight booze and beer. There's no ice anywhere to be seen. These people think that just the fact that you can get it down means you can keep it down. If you can't keep it down, then why are you drinking it? And there is no semblance of niceties. The social decorum of coasters and napkins beneath drinks and sippy straws to get things down. No, people are slipping and slurping from the glass and enjoying themselves as people did maybe 5-6 generations ago. This is very much the outsider edge of civilization sort of place. It's the reason why they are so enamored with the pinball machines, the arcade machines, the space amongst themselves here in the city. And even though it is, in fact, part of the city, as far as the buildings are spaced and as much wild spaces are outside those doors, outside of those fairly rare paved areas outside of the street, this is the edge of civilization. Anything can happen out there in the dark, and these people are okay with it.
Yeah, Molly will just lead B and go towards a back table or something, just somewhere posted up in the back corner near maybe some shitty darts or something.
Oh yeah, there's definitely several dartboards, and you hear an argument. It's supposed to be 6 feet at the bullseye. No, you're not 6 feet at the bullseye. You're supposed to be 6 feet from the board. No, you're supposed to be 10 feet from the board. I can hit it from fucking 15 feet from the board. I don't have to be. All right, prove it, tough guy. That machine over there is 15 feet. I dare you get a fucking bullseye. And those arguments are just in full bloom. You got people trading dollars behind everybody else's back. There's a clear bet in line. There's pride on the line. And this is the sort of place that is, well, raucous. Quietly so, but still raucous.
Well, from that advantage, I'm gonna keep scanning and see if we notice anyone matching her description.
From your location at the rear of the public space of the building, you know that there are 2 ways upstairs. Now, from the outside, it doesn't look like there's an upstairs because the windows are floor to ceiling, but there's clearly a recessed portion of the building that provides access to an upper floor. And strangely enough, even though, it's not that far from the river, most places don't have basements for several reasons. They have, empty former coal storage and root cellars, but most places don't actually have a basement, especially businesses. However, it's clear that this one does, because there's no way that they could be going anywhere else to grab those frequently restocked cases that you see 2 guys bringing up now from somewhere behind the public spaces, somewhere behind the bar before you get to either one of those stairs. You can see the stair on your side, and you know that the other side of the bar is the almost mirror image to this one. There's stairs up, and somewhere back there are stairs down. And you can smell the all too telltale signs of grease not changed often enough that happens in, lower class restaurants and bar and grills, and you can tell that they have easily at least 1 fryer, maybe more. You can tell that they have a flat top grill, maybe more, but you don't see any signs of exhaust in this space, and it's not filled with smoke, which points to several other things as well.
Cool, but we don't see her on this level?
No.
Okay. While we wait, we might want to swap back to Nathaniel and Kira's team, because Nathaniel has limited time.
Yeah. Well, I'll make the other way around and join Molly to the back, but from making like another swipe by the other side just to clear everything, and then go to Nathaniel.
Sounds like a plan. So here's what happens at the incident. It's not really an accident. It was purposely designed and done by a Spectre. The Spectre who is looking for an opening in your defenses. If you reach out to it, it will definitely take that opportunity and that risk. This is something that is as valid and accurate as the fact that gravity is a persistent. Kira is slowly having that dawn on her as she speaks with Nathaniel.
Very sorry about that. My girlfriend just called. My son is sick, so it's fine. All right. What did I miss?
No worries. You and Kira are discussing.
Okay. Give me a sec. I gotta get back at where we were. I think we were going back to the car. Kira was bringing back to the car. I'm like,
Yes.
it's fine. The Primogen's gonna give me another car. I'm trying to unwind myself. Trying not to be mad at Kira. So, listen, Kira, Movarin, when the police arrives, let's keep things as basic as possible.
I'm not going to go telling them that I saw a ghost run across the road, and that's why we got in a wreck.
Yes, yeah, that.
And speak of the devil and they shall appear has always been understood. It's been trotted out like a chestnut that it is, often enough times that it is an immediate thing. The moment you start talking about the ghost, it begins shaking its head, laughing, though you can't hear it, but it's shaking vigorously and is suddenly there in the midst of your conversation, looking for an opening, looking for you all to invite it in. All it takes is a request. All it takes is just asking, reaching out to it. And while it's there trying to get your attention, trying to get you to focus on it, to open the door, to simply let it in so you all can talk, so you can communicate. The police are there. They're calm, full, lights, no sound. The accident has already happened. There's no reason to rush it. Then they got the report that no one was dead and no one was dying. Though, in truth of the matter, the driver of the truck, who finally has shaken off the fugue state, is in fact very much dying.
Oh, Jesus.
I did tell them he wasn't feeling well, but I mean,
You said that he was dying.
is somebody dying? I said I said he was hurt at the very minimum, but yeah, what can I do if Westphalen's
It is called Westphalen for a reason, because they typically fail west. So as the police arrive, the EMTs are there helping them out of the vehicle. They're like, they're going over all of the super specific, purposefully jargonized speech to hide what they're actually doing. And the only thing they're really doing is making him comfortable for the long ride home, though that home may not be where he woke up this morning. The police arrive and they're looking at the scene. They see the rubber on the ground from where the truck tried to stop. They see that it was, clearly an accident. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This guy is not a killer. You all have no reason. And they've heard about, this particular intersection. So, perfectly honest, and here's the part that sucks. Even as Kindred, you're a little appalled by how lackadaisical they are treating the potential loss of life. They've seen it 100,000 times before, but there's no reason to act like this is just another Thursday.
They're worse than us.
So, did you guys see them coming? Was the light your way or their way? Do you remember?
It was a green light for me, and I saw him coming
sounds about
late.
right. These truckers are always hopped up on something. Do you know this guy at all?
Nope.
Edgar Willitson. Doesn't matter. We'll figure out. I think he's married. What? You can't tell from the ring? Oh, come on, guy. Not now. I haven't had my coffee yet. Fucking hell. Anyway, look. So this was an accident. You got insurance?
Yes.
And they take your insurance, they look it over, they start jotting it down. And you, what's the name? McGreeve, Kira, no middle initial. You two do anything that's going to make this look bad for either one of you?
I think I'm good.
All right, sounds like a plan. That means you'll be a good witness for the insurance company. This truck company, they have an issue keeping their drivers off the road when they should probably be somewhere resting. So this is pretty much a slam dunk on our part. Do you want to press charges?
I think he's paying enough. Doesn't look like he's.
No, not against this jackass. This jackass not going to be an issue much longer. But we're talking about the company.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, you're lost, buddy. Anything we should know about in your car? Any drugs? Anything illegal? Any concealed weaponry?
I don't think so. No.
You don't think so? Oh God! All right.
It's a new car. I got it yesterday. I think the day before that.
Oh,
it was yesterday.
A whole new car. Yeah.
Oh,
it's a new car.
Nice. That means that the value hadn't depreciated all that much.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Exactly.
And is this your valid address here that's listed here in the registry for the car?
Yes. It is.
All right. Anything else we need? Yeah, don't forget about the liability waiver. Oh, yeah, hey, do me a favor. Here's signs here. We got here within 5 minutes, and we took all the necessary investigative steps. Just put your signature down there at the bottom.
Sure.
All right. Here's your copy. We'll let you know if there's going to be a day in court. You may be called to witness for the state. That should about cover it. Can your car drive, or do we need to get another vehicle out here to tow you away too?
You have somebody coming to pick me up, so it's fine. Give me a second to get my stuff from the car, and I'll be out of your way.
Yeah, sure thing. And as Nathaniel heads to the car, the officer looks you up and down, and he's like, "That's a weird outfit. Where are you guys off to?"
I'm off to see a client. If you don't mind, that's kind of confidential.
Yeah. We keep secrets all the time. It's not no skin off our nose. It's just, well, you're dressed like you're going to see the opening of BTS, and yeah, look at your shoe attire, your date there. Oh, I mean your friend. After all, she's not your date, right? You guys aren't doing anything that
Yeah, our heels broke, so that's all we had on hand.
Oh, okay. The heels broke. Damn, that
Yeah.
sucks. There's this new place over in Chavis. Some hotshot new wannabe guerrilla designer. Supposedly their stuff is built to last. You may want to take a look there when you get a chance.
Oh, you're
must
talking. I know you're talking about. Yeah, I heard otherwise.
I haven't heard nothing but good things, but these things can be. One second, and his mobile starts going off. Yeah, we're on scene. Yeah. No, just stupid accident. Yeah, the guy was at fault. Yeah. No, he's DOA definitely. Oh, yeah, no. We still got another 6 hours on our shift. Yeah, no, we're good. Yeah, murder intersection. Yeah, the same one. I'm surprised I didn't get carjacked yet, but Yeah, no, we're good. All right, thanks. And he hangs up his mobile, turns his back. Yeah. So you got a client in the area?
Sorry?
You got a client in the area?
Not in the area. We're passing through.
Sorry to be you. With this fancy address on the other over there on the lateral, I don't know what you're doing over here for. Slumming?
Not really. Like I said, it's can't talk about it.
Sure. No, that's fine. But if you got a ride, the tow truck will be along shortly for this moving truck. We'll leave you to it. We got other things to do.
No problem.
You all be safe out there.
Thank you, officer. I'll head to the car, grab the ghoul warded vest that I had.
Actually, it's just your shirt.
A shirt, yeah, ghoul warded shirt that I had, and I'll wrap the gun in it while the officers are looking.
They get back in their vehicle and literally leave the scene of the crime as the EMTs finally
They don't care anyway. That's fine.
Finally get the driver into their vehicle. And while he's not deceased yet, it is clear that he has received enough trauma that by the time they get to where they're going, he may not be amongst the land of the living. And despite yourselves, and including all of your various holding on to your sense of humanity, there is a little small voice that says, "What a waste. All of that lovely blood just gone. Poof. Vanished. Taken away by garbage men." Because that's what the EMTs in Westphalen are. They come behind and clean up the garbage, all of the waste and the rack and the ruin.
My answer to that voice would be, you know very well that blood wouldn't have sit well with us. Not our type.
But she can drink it, and then you can drink her.
No response to that. You go back in your cage, beast. We got work to do.
And as you all wrap up the scene as best as you can, you have the gun on you. Now, in the exchange of them heading off, do you remember which way they headed, or was there a signal that you guys had to let each other know where you would be?
Well, they were going toward the arcade.
So you did remember that. Excellent. So you all head the block and a half over, the quarter of a block up, and you find yourself at the Castlevania Arcade Lounge. It is, for those of you who are actually old enough to have experienced the arcade craze of the late 70s into the early 80s, it is glorious. For those of you who did not and grew up in the time of the console wars and later, it is at best. The 6-bit, the 8-bit, the 16-bit, the 72 and sometimes 80-bit that they're using hurts your eyes. All of that pixelated waste. Why would you? It's less power than it took to get men to the moon, yes, but it's even more offending with the state of affairs of the graphics on your phone. Looking at your phone and looking at the arcade machine is like going back in time, hurtfully so. It is the antithesis to cutting edge. It is, well, it's a waste, is what it is. There's not even any seats where you could sit and enjoy the machinery. Nathaniel remembers playing video games with Eli, or attempting to, and it was engaging, it was stimulating, it was light, it was bright, it was active. This is slow and plodding. As you all walk and look through the floor to ceiling windows, it looks like a great waste of time.
So we walk in. I'm guessing we're getting some strange looks.
Oh, you're getting worse than strange looks. It is clear that you all do not belong. Nathaniel is dressed, even without the vest, in more than most of these people are wearing, and more than most of their mortgages are. Kira is no slouch and is so close to that line of just why? Just why? Why would you wear that much? But then they get to the boots, and it's almost okay. But is she making fun of us? What? They clearly don't. What's going on here? Is the biggest thing. You're clearly not predators. You're clearly not hunters. You clearly don't belong here. But, well, who knows? So it is clearly that feel of people weighing you, measuring you, and trying to decide, are you worth the effort it would take to skin you like a fish? Get rid of all the scales and put you in the freezer for a couple of years. Or maybe to smoke you out in the smoker. But no, what's the point of you people being here? And of course, much like your other coterie members, you guys are blush, so you look very much alive, at least from a distance.
Everybody in that place looks alive, or do they look like...
Oh no, they're very much alive. You can hear the slurred speech from drinking. You can hear the loud raucousness, the room sound of several people in one space breathing and living. The blood flowing in their veins is, well, obvious to a predator such as yourself.
I look around, see if Molly or Beatrice spotted us.
Oh, it's hard not to. The floor to ceiling windows means that everybody walking up to the front two entrances are viewed and viewable by all those inside.
Alright, so then I turn to Kira and I tell her, come, we'll wait for a ride outside. I don't think we're welcome here. I give one last look in Molly and Beatrice's direction, and then I drag Kira outside.
Okay, so you guys step inside and feel the cold eyes of judgment upon you and decide to step back outside the door.
Exactly.
Molly, Beatrice, you hear a couple little laughs going up. Fucking yuppies. Yeah, I guarantee you they got the newest iPhone 26. Nah, they look like they're Android people, that Linux stuff. Linux? What the fuck is that? It's like a video game program for your computer. It like runs all these other stuff that normal people don't want to run on it, like the typing program, but it's not really the typing program. It's like the cheap Chinese knockoff of the real computer stuff. Oh, why would people go after that? It's supposedly cheaper. But is it as good if it's cheap and knockoff? I don't know. I just what I heard. I read it in the magazine the other day. Which magazine? Tech Weekly. It was part of my daughter's Girl Scout package. She was selling magazines. Oh, I got the same one. Which issue? I will go look it up. It's the one with the fighter jet on the cover. I think I left that one in the garage. And so the mindless conversations are going back and forth, and you can clearly see that members of your coterie have been marked as different, even though they clearly look well dressed and human and alive. These Luddites, these hunters, have a social structure all their own. And it's a breath of fresh air compared to the civil savagery of kindred society.
While they're still sitting there, Molly will just text them all the numbers of the muscle cars and just go look these up? Question mark. Leads? Question mark.
Sorry. Do we have the time to inspect probably or try to stealth into the other floors to see if she would be over there?
Are you going to try to sneak away?
While I look at her, should we go and see elsewhere in the place?
It seems like what, the kitchen was upstairs?
Yep, the stairs up are back behind the... Right before you get to the kitchen, you can take those stairs up, and there's clearly stairs down through the kitchen. Are you just going to go for it, or are you going to try to sneak away?
Is there what's it? Like, does it look like... So, wait, the stairs, do they lead upstairs? Like, are people taking those, or is that like an employee-only area?
No one's going back there except for the employees.
And the stairs down are in the kitchen?
Yes.
Well, up or down?
I would say up. I have a feeling up. But I don't know. I don't have a feeling. I have to try, I guess. These ones.
Yeah, I'll just send a quick text letting the others know what we're doing, tell them to watch the exits. And I guess we'll try and sneak upstairs.
Excellent. Would you be so kind as go ahead and roll dexterity and stealth? Your DC is 3.
To sneak? Dexterity plus sneak?
Yes, dexterity and stealth, yes.
I will...
5 successes.
I will go for it.
I was going to say, if you're not comfortable, you can also stay down here and make sure no one flushes. Oh, perfect.
I'm good. I know my way in.
You know your way into disappearing, to fading into the background, to not being where people think you might have been. And in the course of doing so, as you all make your way up the stairs, instinctually moving away from the creaky middle of the steps, taking the outside edge very lightly forward step, keeping your weight balanced and moving silently up the stairs, Beatrice remembers falling. Beatrice remembers landing in the middle of vampires. Remembers landing in the middle of witches and demons and realizing that they were all kindred, pointing and laughing because of a prank. Falling. Never rising. And you guys can make it to the second floor. There are roughly, by your count, because there's a central hall and 3 doors on each side plus a window at the end of the hall, roughly 6 rooms up here. And based on the sounds that you're hearing, subtle though they might be, they are... Hang on a second.
So am I getting the feeling that we should have gone downstairs? Is that what I'm getting?
All right, sorry about that. That was my daughter. I have to go pick her up in a few short moments. So, as you all get upstairs, there are six rooms total, 6 doors total. Based on the sounds that you are hearing, they are clearly either quietly occupied by people doing what adults do after dark, or something is moving inside those doors quietly. There's no TVs, there's no sound of music from radios, there's no flushing of toilets or anything like that. There's just quiet, creaky movement.
From all rooms or one specific?
Yes.
Molly will just like take Bee's hand and just like give her a little wink, like go with it, and be like, she'll like stage with her. I think all these rooms are full. Let's check downstairs.
Okay. Perfect. Well, okay.
While outside getting the text from Molly and Beatrice, what is it that Nathaniel and Kira do?
We walk. If we receive a couple of license plates to check out, so we're just gonna walk past those car and look like what they look like.
Oh, they're old classic 70s muscle cars. There's a Sprinter, then a Spirit, there's a Charger, it's just muscle upon muscle mixed in with trucks, all with gun racks, usually with 2 or 3 rifles there. It is the sort of place where you know that at least half the people are packing and the other people are packing double.
Right, so but there's nothing like out of the ordinary outside of the fact that it's a bunch of hunters, but not vampire hunters.
What's the difference between the two?
The game is different.
No, it's not. You're chasing something dangerous, something not human, something that could cause grievous harm to you on a multiplicity of levels. And no, this is not me. This is not me driving it home because to stress the difference between the two. But this is what your beast and your intelligence would tell you in world. The difference between a hunter of animals and predators, and the difference between the hunters of kindred, is simply opportunity.
Right.
The same hardy individuals that would spend weeks or months in the blind hunting boar, bear, deer even, are the same hardy individuals, if they find out about the kindred, would do the same thing.
Right. So, but nothing that indicates anything about Amelia or more specialized like Inquisition stuff or anything. All right. And then we'll just wait for Beatrix and Molly to come out.
I don't necessarily feel comfortable leaving them in there by themselves.
Okay. We can keep an eye out in case something happens, but
what if something happens?
If we're clearly be more trouble to them if we go in than if we stay outside.
All right.
What do you consider specialized kindred hunting equipment?
You know, fire rounds, big ass crossbows, gas stakes, big ass crossbows. Like if they're packing crossbows left and right, then it's a little more concerning than like only hunting rifles. Or if there's automatic weapons, also, you don't need to put the 20 bullets into a deer to kill it.
Would you be so kind to just go ahead and roll your wits plus awareness?
Wits plus awareness?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, give me a second. I just gotta confirm that it is 4 dice. Yes. All right. Here we go. And 2 successes.
The same sort of individual is a hunter. It is what it is. It's a lifestyle. It's a choice. It's a decision. The same sort of individual that hunts one predator would very well hunt another. And while you're looking for specialized equipment, something that says that they are knowledgeable as to the physiology of kindred, something that says they've, fallen prey to the widespread knowledge that if you stake a vampire, it turns into dust and disappears into nothingness. You don't find that information. You don't find those clues in the vehicles that you're standing outside of. And almost every vehicle from the rear view mirror has a rosary. There's several stickers of Mary of Guadalupe. There's several St. Jude's medallions. There are several bits and fobs of Catholic worship in each of those vehicles. There's not one that does not have some semblance of religious iconography visible or near at hand on those vehicles. Not one.
Kira, did you see this? What do you make of that?
Of all the rosaries all over the place?
Yes.
It is a little worrying. Unless a lot of Catholics are hanging out here.
Westphalen is 65% Southern Baptist. Catholics are a minority.
And those rosaries are exclusively Catholics? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Any chance it could link them to the Society of Leopold? Or that we know?
Well, most of the purported famous hunters of kindred, witch hunters all around, have been religious. Catholic. And you have two members of your coterie in a bar with people who believe so strongly they carry the iconography in their vehicles with several high-power hunting rifles and clearly enough rounds and skill to use them, considering that the average truck has at least 3 rifles.
I'll text Molly back. Found shitload of rifles and concerning amount of Catholic symbols. Might want to get out.
And as you send the text, a truck passes through the lot. Not just a truck. It is a long body, Econoline, old 1973 Ford. The back of the truck is designed to haul heavy weights for long distances of time. This is a truck that could only be operational due to an actual consistent care for the diesel engine. In the doing, the driver, wearing sunglasses, slows to a crawl, looking you and Kira up and down, raises his sunglasses back in place, and continues to the front of the building. Parks on the street, not knowing that he's parking directly behind Molly's vehicle, but he is parked directly behind Molly's vehicle. And he sits there smoking for a second, and the text is sent off. Receiving that text from Nathaniel and Kira, what is it that Molly and Beatrice are attempting to do? Considering that they're heading back down the stairs and they've managed to get away with making it into an area that they don't belong. However, the stairs down are in fact through the kitchen. There's no way that the staff there would not see you all.
Have we seen how many people there in the kitchen?
Yeah, 3.
So the text was sent to Molly, not to me. Is that it? So
Yes.
Okay.
Molly will see the text as they get downstairs. Probably curse a little bit under breath and just show her how to be.
So does it say that they recommend that we get out? Or it was just the concerning amount of religious symbols?
It's recommended that you get out.
So
Think about it.
Are we come back downstairs or are we still upstairs?
You're downstairs. You're on the first.
Okay.
Yeah, Molly will finish her drink, keep the glass on the bar, head back outside.
You all get outside. Go on.
I'll follow her. Like, I won't stay in hunter's bar alone.
You all get back outside. Molly's vehicle's out front. You guys, do you congregate at Molly's vehicle because that is the only ride out of here, or do you and Kira wait in the parking lot as you were?
When I see Molly and Beatrix come out, I try to stay a little bit further away so that you don't see us with her. Or see her with us, more precisely.
Okay, so you stay in the parking lot waiting, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but not exactly by the car.
That's not suspicious at all.
I mean, we're,
The black old Ford gone in line with the huge back storage space in the bed of the truck, which is covered by a camper top. The driver gets out, he stretches and adjusts his glasses and leans against his truck watching the bar. And as Molly and Beatrice exit and move toward their vehicle. Now, Molly, when you get outside and you realize that Nathaniel and Kira aren't at your truck, where do you move it or do you stay there?
Yeah, Molly was impressed that they can get to the car on their own means. So Molly will just get in the truck as if nothing is wrong and drive about a block away around the corner. Expect them to meet her there.
Okay, so as you pull off and turn the corner, and as Nathaniel and Kira get the text, less than 3-4 seconds later, Amelia emerges from the bar carrying a duffel bag clearly filled with things that are meant to stay for a very long time. She hugs the guy on the driver's side who pushes his hat back and smiles brightly as he helps her into his truck, taking her bag, putting it in the back, and they begin to take off.
I might try to compel her, though. I'm just trying to see where...
That would be a terrible idea. Especially since she knows your face.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, she knows our face. She's gonna see us. Kira pulls the hairpin out of her hair so her hair just falls down, grabs Nathaniel, and just starts making out with him. So that way, maybe she won't see his face. Or hers.
So, we haven't driven off, is that it?
You guys have driven around the corner, and the truck that was behind you is pulling off. Nathaniel and Kira have watched as Amelia has hugged the individual and got into the truck. And as they are driving away, you all have the opportunity to make a decision. There are several things that you can do at this point. None of them easy.
As Kira is kissing me, look at the truck, and I just start pulling out the phone and calling Molly so that we can talk to her fast once they're gone. But yeah, go on. Sorry.
Nathaniel produces the phone, despite all of the feelings that flood through him with the brush and kiss of Kira's rushed disguise, keeping you all from immediately coming to anyone's attention. However, and here's the however, you all are on foot. Molly and Beatrice are around the corner. The truck is easing away a block at a time. No real rush, but it is clear that Amelia, if not radicalized, is at least wary. Who moves at this hour of the evening, even if it is just couch surfing? Who hides in a hunter's bar? Who attempts to live in the wide open, forgotten spaces like this? Someone on the run from something hunting them. Someone who is aware that the shadows hold threat. Someone who is far more wary than they should be, especially as an actress. This is not for a role. She's not up for anything. She just had the most traumatic moments of her life happen. And she's aware that the kindred exist. And with that knowledge, and with all everything that's pressing for us in the real world, I'd like to thank you for this episode and this moment of play. I have to go get my daughter. Nathaniel has to go do what he needs to do, and I will see you guys in post.
See ya.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.